Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are honored, always honored, to have one of my good friends, colleagues, community leader par excellence on the show, and that is Rear Admiral retired Mark Balmert, the president and CEO of the San Diego Military Advisory Council. Admiral, it's always great seeing you.
Hey, Drew, how are you?
I'm doing just fine, and you do so much great things for our Spotlight show. You've been just a great supporter for many, many years, and we really appreciate that. And SDMAC is certainly just continuing to grow its footprint in San Diego. For those very, very few of our Spotlight listeners, what's the mission of the organization?
Yeah, so it's actually a fair question even for those who know us, because we say our mission in a different way over time. So we advocate on behalf of our local military, those who serve and have served, and their families. So in kind of bits and pieces, it's the military organization, the bases, the hardware, the funding for all that. And then those who serve, it's those in uniform or have served, veterans, and their families. And we spend a lot of work trying to make life better for military families as well.
Well, you do, and that's a wide swath, whether it's the spouse of the person who is serving, whether it's the kids and working in education. I know you're laser beamed on trying to get our state of California to change some tax rules and all that. We've talked about that before. But one of the things that I love, Mark, I've been working with you guys for quite a while. The organization was founded 19 years ago, if I got the years right on this. You folks really have elevated what you have done in this community, so well respected and so forth. And really gets credit to you and your predecessors as well, Larry Balmert and Randy Bogle. And you have a great board. The board is so active. It is truly a good board in that area. But, listen, it's a lot of work for you guys to do this, to really let people know, here's what you folks do and here's how you embrace the connection between civilian life and military life.
It's so rewarding, but there's so much that can be done.
Right.
And most what can be done is there's not a lot of opposition to getting it done. There's just some barriers that we need to work our way around. And that's what makes it so rewarding.
Right, exactly, and you do. As being an admiral, you're a metrics guy. You like to see results, and I know that's really important to you and the board as well. And you've been in the president and CEO seat now for 5 years. And one of the things we were chatting about right before I went on air, you do an annual trip to Washington D.C. And SDMAC is pretty well known, are they not?
Yeah. So we just went a couple of weeks ago with the chamber. So chambers are a good friend of ours.
Right.
They put on a great annual trip. So we went with them. And, we just had the red carpet rolled out wherever we went. It was just so nice. And we were actually able to then help bring in elected officials on some of our office calls and help them in their communication with the military leadership as well. So it was very rewarding.
Right. And a lot of this is done. We're not going to talk about it on this show, but we've talked about it on others. You folks have a great footprint for one of the things that you hang your hat on, and that's your annual Military Economic Impact Report that everyone is very, very familiar with, including our congressmen and women in San Diego. But there's also folks around the country that are aware of what you folks do. Yeah,
so that's very true, and I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I've been actually giving this a lot of thought lately. We're a premier military community organization. we're probably the best in the state because I have friends that run other organizations that are very good, but still look towards us maybe because we're also a large military community. So we have to understand how to use that to do even more than we're doing now.
Yeah, and you do, and I know people are certainly aware of it. So on this recent trip to D.C., you're meeting congressmen, congresswomen, and not just from San Diego region, from all over, correct?
Yeah, so that was kind of neat because we did branch out a little bit more. There were some people I wanted to see. I wanted to see Congressman Mike Garcia, who is not from our region, but he's from California. He introduced legislation to try to help military spouses, and that is a long story. That legislation fell apart.
Right.
Congressman Mike Levin picked it up. It got passed, but it's not working. So we need some help to it's funny, just because something's a law doesn't mean
it works.
It works.
Right. There's no question about that. And, we've brought this up before. There is a reason why San Diego has, for the most part, been on the receiving end or the good end of BRAC, the base realignment and closing aspects that every once in a while pops up in all this business. I think we've been a net gainer on these, and where other places lose. Listen, SDMAC gets credit for it. Our great bases here in San Diego get for it. Our congressmen and women get credit for that. But there's a reason why the focus, plus the fact we're an important place for the military to be.
Yes, yeah. So we are, and it's important to, educate the community, our community leaders, on what's so unique and important to our national security and the benefit to the local community, local economy, because we are that big base, that big military center.
Well, listen, it's $33 billion in direct spending or something to that effect, and I think almost up to $60 billion in indirect. That's well stated and so forth. And I know everybody appreciates that aspect.
So let me interrupt just for a moment, because this past year, I've been having a little bit of a trouble explaining something to other parts of the other organizations in our community. When they cite defense, they cite military.
Right.
And they'll say, well, there's 110,000 military and $10 billion. And I'll say, well, that's not correct. And the defense contracting. And they'll go, oh, sure. But no, that is, what makes other businesses strong a lot of times is just that they employ workforce. It's not so much what they spend.
Right.
But the defense spends many times more than what they're paying just for their workforce there. And our community benefits from that.
Well, the amount of people that are touched by military, whether it's contracts or subcontractors, civilian, is just humongous. We've talked about this before, and hopefully they'll get this debt ceiling thing squared away. But in 2008, when everything imploded because of the real estate, collapse, thank God for the military, we didn't. And that military oomph, lifted us from actually some pretty serious times.
So just before here, in fact, I left early to come to your meeting. I was on a Zoom call with Congressman Mike Levin,
right,
who does a periodic local veterans groups call, and almost the entire conversation was about the debt ceiling, and if a deal doesn't happen, what the impact is, including to veteran and military organizations. So nobody will win if that happens.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. We're chatting with retired Mark Balmert. He's the CEO of the San Diego Military Advisory Council. I'm Drew Schlosberg, Cloudcast Media. You're listening to Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. It's the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now in our 17th year. Here at Mission Fed studio, nice studios in Scripps Ranch and Mission Fed, as you know, Mark.
They are.
Yeah, been doing great things in San Diego for more than 60 years. Talk about some of your current priorities.
Oh, so I don't know that we've ever been busier, but the priority really needs to be about what I call policy and our ability to influence things that are happening. That gets us to our mission.
Right.
Now, in order to do that, we got to stay in business. So we got to keep membership going. We got to please our members. We got to do our monthly breakfast. We've had some incredible speakers. We've changed venues. So, we have a lot of these other things. We've got not one, but 2 reports coming out this year. So we're very, very busy in that regard. But many of those other things are enablers so that we can make a difference on the policy.
Without question. We come back from break. I want to talk about those iconic breakfasts that some of the folks we've had on the podium this year have just been spectacular. Our next breakfast is coming up on June 14. Also want to get back to something you talked about that is literally sort of the blocking and tackling and so important of SDMAC, and that's membership and letting people know there's plenty of opportunities to become members. When we return to the conversation with Rear Admiral retired Mark Balmert, the CEO, San Diego Military Advisory Council. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. As you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, we will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now in our 17th year here in the Mission Fed studio. The Mission Fed is doing great community work for 60 years. We are honored to have in the studio with us Mark Balmert, Rear Admiral, retired in the Navy, an illustrious naval career. He is now having another illustrious career as the CEO of the San Diego Military Advisory Council. And Mark, we were just chatting about your very successful and fruitful trip to Washington, D.C., your annual trip with the Chamber of Commerce and some of the key priorities you folks you have. But, one of the things that for those people who have been to our breakfast, you've heard me say this many times, I love to have rookies, so to speak, sit at the table while we host. They are blown away by the people you have on the podium and just meeting the folks that are there, all the retired flags and everybody else. It's just a great environment. And this one was terrific this year. We had the SecNav over at West earlier this year, and the head of Naval Special Warfare was just on a couple weeks ago. And if I'm not mistaken, the Lieutenant General in charge of the Army in Europe retired, and so forth. Not too long ago was the, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it the Marine Corps Commandant?
Yes, we did, yeah. Towards the end of last year.
How do you get these folks?
So most of the time there's help involved. With General Hodges, our last speaker,
right.
I learned that he was going to be on the West Coast. You may have seen him on TV talk about Ukraine before. Kind of a smart guy, talking head, knows Ukraine better than anybody. And he was going to be out in town, and his group said maybe we could do a small reception for him. And I said, would he be interested in doing a breakfast speech? And
Well, I got to tell you, my table, as you know, have been going for a long time to these things, some for about 10, 15 years. And everyone at the table, I think, said to a T of the ones they've been to, and there have been some outstanding speakers. So this is of a high bar. Best talk they've heard.
He's a gifted speaker. And,
oh, my goodness.
I got to know him a little bit. I met him at the gate, drove him in. He's a really, really nice man. And he really wanted to know what our audience wants to know about Ukraine. And so I told him a few things and some questions he might get. And a couple of those questions actually came up. But he made sure, I watched him, he made sure the things I had suggested he did address. But he really puts an interesting perspective on what's going on over in Ukraine and Eastern Europe.
It was so informative. Everybody would just go, wow, I didn't realize that. Obviously, he's not giving away any secrets and stuff, but he was, very, very bullish on Ukraine's going to win this thing, and he made no bones about that. And he explained why he thought it was going to happen. I thought it was outstanding. The next one is June 14. Are there still seats available?
I think there's some seats. So one of the problems we're having right now is a nice problem.
Yeah.
Is we sell out very quickly.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't look this morning before I came over.
Yeah.
There's some seats. There's always a few seats available.
Okay.
And sometimes I tell you what, and people want to listen, they get a little secret tip here. If they go online and it says sold out, they should call the office.
Right.
Because often our corporate members are calling in and unable to fill their table, and we open up some more seats.
Yeah. Do we have a keynote speaker set for the 14th?
We have an invited speaker.
Okay, good.
So he's the third one I've invited for June.
Is that right? And then am I number 4?
No, you're probably number 5 because I have a backup plan right now. So hopefully I have. By the end of today, I hopefully have a speaker.
No matter, it doesn't make a difference. Every speaker you have is just spot on. And I think...
But this is, I'll give you a little insight.
Please.
Here's the way the speaker business works. I tried to get this certain 3-star to come and be a speaker, and his office said he'd love to, but so-and-so 4-star is going to be in town to meet with him. So I said, I'll get that 4-star. So I've worked in Washington, D.C. on that office, and then they're kind of giving me a runaround. And I said, finally, hey, look, just tell me, is he going to be here or not? She's not going to be in San Diego. So, okay. So that's kind of how things fall apart, is there's tentative trips that fall through, and, we're chasing, and we're just SDMAC, so we've got to...
Not just SDMAC.
But we've speaking to us as a favor.
Yeah,
so,
I understand.
Yeah, so we're always out looking for favors.
Well, listen, I'll tell you what, one of the highlights is going to be meeting the new mascot, the Bulldog, correct?
Yes.
Is going to be there. Does the Bulldog have a name?
I think it's Bruno.
Bruno. Okay,
I can't remember if Bruno's the new one or the old one.
So it's like, we know University of Georgia has UGA. It's like UGA 75 or whatever the name is right there. Okay, so we'll meet Bruno or something like that. And
you guys have like that guy with the stuffy head that in the horns and runs around the stadium?
And yes, that is very, very...
Oh, the Bruin. That's what he's called.
Yeah, it's a UCLA Bruin, right? We won't get talking about UCLA football because that will not be a good conversation, as we well know. UCLA basketball, we'd be happy to talk about. Yeah,
you should be very proud.
I'm very, very proud of that. We're chatting with Rear Admiral retired Mark Balmert, the CEO of the San Diego Military Advisory Council. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Spotlight on the Community. Here at Mission Fed Studio. Mission Fed doing wonderful things for all of our residents for more than 60 years. But membership really is the bread and butter of what you folks, pin yourself on. You need members, be consistent members. It's pretty simple to get a member and very affordable.
Yes, it's very affordable, either as an individual member or a corporate member. We have all different size corporate memberships to try to, fit a company's ability. And what we find is people become members largely because they want to help the military community and they trust that we're a good organization to do that. We work then to try to make the membership of value to them by bringing in good breakfast speakers and a lot more events than we used to do, more after work mixers and summer socials and town hall meetings with politicians. We're working on another one for August. And so we're trying to do more and more for our members.
Well, I think one of the things you do there is so valuable, and it's very, I'll use the analogy that's very similar to the schools. As you know, I've been heavily involved in the schools for quite a while on the Classroom of the Future Foundation Advisory Board. And sometimes schools can be a little insular, hard to get a hold of a superintendent. They got big jobs, 43 of them. Military is just as tough. And so you folks have been great when, hey, I need to chat with X amount, this person here, we're trying to do this initiative. And you've been very magnanimous in giving us advice to say, listen, that's just not going to work because of X, because you'd be honest why it wouldn't work. Or you'd say, oh, you need to call Joe Blow, he's in charge or she's in charge of X. And now you have, when we use your name, there's an entry to it. That is really valuable for the business folks.
Yeah, and we're happy to do those type of introductions. I spend a lot of time matchmaking business to business.
Right.
Somebody's, I have a company from the energy company from the East Coast coming out next month. They want to meet with me.
Right.
So I invited a local small energy company to be there, because I know they'll have something in common.
Right.
To do that. We have people that want to get information on a particular military base, so we'll help with introductions there. A lot of times they may want to speak to the commander, but the introduction will probably be to somebody who works for them out of respect for don't put a commander in a spot yet until, something gets vetted a little bit. But it usually works out very well.
Right. And listen, it doesn't hurt that you're a retired admiral, in this aspect of it. And it's very appreciative, one of the many benefits of joining SDMAC. And I'd love to make pitches for that, because it is a great organization for so many different reasons. And listen, you guys support the veterans. What is it, 230,000 veterans in San Diego or something that effect?
Yeah. So it's an interesting number to try to count. It's a very difficult number to count.
Yeah.
The number's actually gone down the last few years.
People leaving the state?
Leaving the state or dying. The World War II, Korean War vets, and then some of the older vets passing away. And then the younger vets not staying in California. Right. So there's some dynamics going on there. But San Diego County is probably the highest percentage veteran county. I think LA County has more vets, but
not percentage-wise.
Not percentage-wise. We have a terrific VA here, a lot of other benefits. Our county our county board of supervisors has, the County of San Diego has a veteran support organization that helps veterans like me understand your benefits and rights and guide you through those.
Right. Well, listen, what can our listeners do to support your efforts? Obviously, become a member. When you have an event, love to have a sponsor of an event and so forth. Recommend someone that would be a good member, whether it's individual or corporation. Many ways to support you folks.
Yeah, so of course they can support us financially through membership primarily.
Right.
Coming to our events is a great way to do that. That supports us as well, and hopefully it's very enjoyable to do that. But even if you don't want to open your wallet or anything like that, we still want to know what you think, what we should be doing to better serve our military and veteran community.
That's a good point. Is it like a survey, or is that something on the website?
So, maybe we get a little bit of help and we can do things like surveys.
Sure.
Mostly it's word of mouth. We've done some surveys, but I don't know, they always tell us the correct thing. Sometimes we get some loud voices or, so we're working really hard on this military retirement deal, which actually could happen. But financially, that's not helping a lot of vets, because those are retired people.
Right.
Most vets didn't stay in for a career. So that's not lost on me that there are another group of veterans that won't benefit directly from this. So we're trying to understand a lot of those things are some simpler things, just making sure veterans know what their benefits are. They can get to those benefits and learn about them without having to hire a lawyer to do that. And,
right. Well, what's the website if people want to?
www.sdmac.org.
Right. Well, Mark, it's always a pleasure to see you. I consider you a dear friend and a colleague, and for so many different reasons on this, I'd be remiss. I've been emailing him back and forth. If we didn't give a big shout out to Vice Admiral Yancey Lindsay, who is retiring
June 2nd.
June 2nd. I'm trying to find a way to get out there. Maybe have to stow away on a plane. And but Yancey is just a wonderful human being. He's done a great career. He was the CEO of North Island. That's how I met him, and just wonderful. And Stacy,
and he was one of the ones that rolled out the red carpet when we were back in D.C.
He's unbelievable. Yeah. He's unbelievable, and he'll be retiring in Phoenix, where Stacy, his bride, lives. But he promised he'd come back on the show and talk about his experiences in that role and what it's like to be retired. So when he's back in San Diego, if we can get him on a Friday, I'd like you to join us.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll be out here periodically.
He'll be out here
probably, especially in the summer.
He will, when it's 180 in Phoenix. Mark, any final words?
We have our Achievement Awards coming up at the end of August, so stay tuned. We'll be putting more information about that. Last year was a terrific event. We're going to honor Mac McLaughlin with a Lifetime Achievement Award. He's going to come back just to receive that.
And that's so well-deserved. Well, again, wishing you nothing but great success. Encourage everyone to go to that website. If you have a chance to go to a breakfast, do so or become a member. It's a great organization to support. And Mark, we'll look forward to having you back on next month.
Great.
We always try to get you on at least once a month.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet.
Great show you have here, too.
I really appreciate that. We've been chatting with Rear Admiral retired Mark Balmert, the CEO of the San Diego Military Advisory Council. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in its 17th year here in the Mission Fed studio. And want to give a shout-out to Mission Fed for all the wonderful things they've been doing in the community for more than 60 years. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.